Hello and welcome to the second episode of India This Week. This is your co-host Khalid Beg.
नमस्ते, स्वागत है आपका इंडिया दिस वीक के सेकेंड एपिसोड में और मैं हूं आपकी को-होस्ट आमना अंसारी।
So today we're going to discuss about the three farm law bills which were revoked, ushering in a lot of shock by the supporters of the ruling regime and a lot of jubilation by the opposition and some confused things about some protesters who still want the protest to go on. So discussing this very, very important issue, which is split the nation into two, we are joined by two panelists. We are very, very happy to have them. We have Kushal Mehra, who of course needs no introduction, one of India's favorite YouTubers, always trying to raise the rationality quotient. And I'm sure a lot of leftists do like him and a lot of extreme right-wingers too, but they just don't want to talk about it. Welcome, Kushal.
Thank you. I don't know who likes me. As far as I'm concerned, I am happy with myself.
Every Indian who wants the rationality quotient in debates to go up across the ideological spectrum likes you, Kushal. So we can guarantee you that. And also gives us a great pleasure to have Rajat Sharma. Rajat is a scientist based out of US. He's an agricultural scientist, a bioprocess data scientist, and also keeps a sharp eye on issues here. Having known him and seen his post in the last few years, he's a very, very fine intellectual voice on the nationalistic side. And the best part is on this particular topic, we have the right man. So welcome, Rajat, to the show.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amna and Khalid, for giving me this opportunity. I'm glad to be part of this, and thank you, Kushal, for also coming and helping us guys out. So I'm looking forward to a great discussion.
Right. So, Rajat, the first question that we have, I mean, let's straight dive into the topic, right, about the three farm law bills. So, क्या कमी रह गई मोदी जी के प्यार में that he could not explain this to the protesters, to the farmers? And if you could just help us understand on a very basic level, think of it, you explain to kindergarten students because there have been riots over these things, highways have been blocked for years, that what were these three farm law bills, just the substance of it.
The first law, or when you just Google it, you'll see that the first is called the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilities Act.
What was the
तो उसमें basically क्या हो रहा था कि the government wants to expand the scope of trade areas for farmers produce. In the sense, it was allowing the farmers to just sell their produce to whoever and in whatever zone they wanted to. अभी तक majority of the states में क्या होता है कि a farmer cannot sell their produce outside the state that they are producing it.
So this is for all states of India?
Yes.
Okay. So they were now saying that a farmer of Maharashtra can sell it in Punjab farmer can sell it in Rajasthan.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what was the second?
One more important point. There are two more important points to note as to what are the salient features of this particular bill. Right. Other than providing that expansion of territory for sale, it was also allowing electronic trading and e-commerce of scheduled farmers' produce for the first time. So this would have created an ecosystem for e-trading
where you could sell it online.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then finally, it was prohibiting state governments from levying any market fee, cess, or tax on farmers and traders because through the production of these electronic trading platforms. So, hota kya hai ki APMC is now, especially in the states that have seen that agitation, and I would not like to blame the people that come from the states, but it is just the ecosystem that's so beneficial for a clique. That's why there is so much hostility. Is that the state tax that the state governments earn through all of this trade volume that happens in the APMC is a huge source of revenue for
they wouldn't want to let go of that.
So those taxes would also have gone away and made the cost of doing business a little cheaper for the farmer, according to this first bill. Right. The second one is the Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act of 2020.
This was for what is it?
सरल भाषा में it is a legal frame. It is a legal frame था farmers के लिए to go into contracts with private companies and private players.
So उससे पहले उनको वो हक नहीं था.
Well, अलग-अलग states में अलग-अलग तरीके से है. कुछ states allow करती हैं, कुछ नहीं करती हैं.
So this was like a blanket कि अब हर state का बंदा can get into a contract.
Proper uniform, well-defined legal framework पहली बार create हुआ जिसमें a farmer can go into a a contract with a company to sell their produce, and इसमें एक dispute resolution mechanism भी define किया गया, which also became a point of controversy. If you remember that there was, and we'll obviously talk about this in detail, but एक farmers की agitation से एक निकल के आई कि आप लोगों ने हमको dispute resolution mechanism सही नहीं दिया, you are not allowing us to go to courts, because initially this was framed as meant to be resolved through the district magistrate of the place where a dispute resolution was occurred. So मैं एक farmer हूँ, and मेरा payment अगर time पे नहीं हुआ है from the contract that I made, which is also very clearly explained कि आपको किस timeline और किस deadline के बीच farmer को pay करना है, और आपको जो आपने initial contract में पैसे mention किए हैं, you have to honor that commitment. That is a responsibility on the part of the private company that's coming in. Right. तो ये mechanism define हुआ उसमें, और जो final तीसरा act है वो एक amendment है of the Essential Commodities Act. So Essential Commodities Act is एक पुराना law है इंडिया में, where creation of bulk storages of essential food grains wasn't allowed. So you could not create storages or create logistical supply chains where you can have a private company can go in and have huge storages, because at that time, क्योंकि famine के time पे they used to be hoardings, and then these things used to be sold for high prices. But आज की तारीख में, the reason why this amendment was brought about was India is producing all of these essential grains at least in excessive quantities, and most of it is rotting because there is no way to store these grains. So just for an example, about 40 million tons of wheat was lost due to wastage in the 2019-2020 quarter, the financial year. And if you think about from a point of view of a private company that wants to invest into Indian food business, and this is not just a private company that wants to trade food, all of this is linked to food processing industry as well. So मैं अगर एक इंसान हूँ who wants to set up a cold storage so that I can buy, let's say, wheat from this farmer at a really good quality and want to sell it to a Kellogg's or something like that to make processed wheat products out of it. I cannot do it today, as opposed to most democracies or most developed countries in the world where this is a norm.
Fine, I think we've understood what the three laws were, and Amna, to be honest, all seem great. So take it from there, and you can ask Kushal then.
या कुशल, आपसे मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है, हमें पता है कि इंडिया में जब भी पॉलिसी आती है तो उसके ऊपर पॉलिटिक्स तो होना ही होना है। जो भी पार्टी गवर्नमेंट में है उनके लिए वो पॉलिसी परफेक्ट होती है, और जो अपोजिशन में है उनके लिए वो सही हो ही नहीं सकती। एंड हम यही चीज़ देखते हैं फार्म बिल के ऊपर, बहुत सारी पार्टियों ने यू टर्न भी लिया। शिवसेना ने लोकसभा में इसको बैक किया एंड अपर हाउस में वॉकआउट कर गए, राइट। एंड सेम टाइम पे हम देखते हैं कि आईएनसी कांग्रेस ने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में इसी तरह के एग्रीकल्चरल रिफॉर्म की बात की है। इवन आप पार्टी ने अपने जो असेंबली इलेक्शन है पंजाब में, उसके अंदर जो मैनिफेस्टो दिया था उसमें भी कमोबेश यही बातें हैं। तो कुशल, मैं चाहती हूँ कि हम इन पॉलिटिक्स को बिल्कुल साइड रख दें, राइट, और हम बात करें पॉलिसी पे कि क्या ये जो पॉलिसी को पेंट किया गया है कि ये फार्मर्स के अगेंस्ट है, बिल्कुल इसमें किसी तरह की सच्चाई है या इसमें थोड़े बहुत फ्लॉज हैं जो रिफॉर्म किए जा सकते थे? तो आप प्लीज मुझे ये तीनों पॉलिसी पे के मेरिट्स और डीमेरिट्स ओनली पॉलिसी बेसिस पे, नथिंग पॉलिटिकल, ऐसे समझाइए प्लीज।
तो ऐसा है कि एज फार एज मेरिट्स की बात है तो एक क्रिटिसिज्म पॉलिसी का ये हो सकता है कि करंट स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स क्या थे। पहले इस पॉलिसी के आने के पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा कि इंडिया में मतलब इस समय हमारे देश में कितने एपीएमसी थे। जैसे लास्ट सर्वे हुआ था 2019 में तो 7000 से कम एपीएमसी थे, कुछ 6653 या समथिंग एपीएमसी से जो लास्ट हमने सर्वे किया था। जैसे फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स हैं, फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स कौन सी स्टेट में अलाउड है करने को, कौन सी स्टेट में नहीं है अलाउड। जैसे जस्ट फॉर एन एग्जांपल, गवर्नमेंट का एम ये था कि हम एक नेशनल पॉलिसी बनाए, और अभी इसके मेरिट्स भी हैं डीमेरिट्स भी हैं। एक तरीका सोचने का ये है कि अगर आप इस देश में नेशनल पॉलिसी बना रहे हैं तो एक नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन होती है। अभी जैसे ये फार्म लॉ बिल्स थे, इसको बिहार को क्या लेना देना? बिहार तो 2006 से एपीएमसी एक्ट निकाल चुका था, बिहार का तो कोई लेना देना ही नहीं, कोसों दूर तक कोई लेना देना नहीं है। अभी केरला में भी एपीएमसी हट चुका था, एज फार एज मुझे याद है तमिलनाडु में भी, मुझे याद नहीं एग्जैक्टली कौन सी स्टेट थी। देखो ये फार्म लॉ है ना, बेसिकली ये फार्म लॉ था इशू 2.5 स्टेट के लिए, पूरा पंजाब, हरियाणा में एक पर्टिकुलर रीजन, और यूपी में वेस्टर्न यूपी। सो ये 2.5 स्टेट का सवाल था। अब क्या पॉलिसी में मेरिट था? हाँ और ना, दोनों हो सकता है, डिपेंड करता है आप किस साइड से इसको देखते हो। अगर आप इसको एक एंगल से देखते हो कि आपको हर चीज को सेंट्रलाइज करने की क्या जरूरत है, एक तरीका ये है कि जिन जिन स्टेट्स को अपने हिसाब से करना है करने दो। अभी मैं आपको दूसरा उदाहरण देता हूँ इसका। लेबर लॉ है, अभी मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने लेबर लॉ भी लाया, बाय द वे अभी तक नोटिफाई नहीं हुए, नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आई है उनकी, वो नोटिफाई नहीं हुए हैं। मगर उनके नोटिफाई करने के पहले जब वसुंधरा राजे बीजेपी की चीफ मिनिस्टर थी राजस्थान में, राजस्थान के इतिहास के हाईएस्ट लेबर लॉ रिफॉर्म्स हुए थे। मैं लेबर लॉ रिफॉर्म्स के एग्जांपल क्यों दे रहा हूँ कि मैं बेसिकली फार्म लॉस को समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ उस पॉइंट में पॉलिसी में क्या हो रहा है। अभी रिसेंटली हमने पढ़ा था कि गुजरात और मध्य प्रदेश और उत्तर प्रदेश तीनों ने मेजर लेबर रिफॉर्म्स लाए, मेजर अपने अंदर। तो मेरा पॉइंट ये है कि देखो, मैंने तो फार्म लॉस को सपोर्ट किया था, मगर बाद में मैंने जब कुछ लोगों की आर्ग्यूमेंट सुनी तो उन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स को मैं नजरअंदाज नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि उनकी आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या थी कि भाई हर चीज में सेंटर से उंगली करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं होती है। पॉइंट ये है कि हमें ये भूलना नहीं चाहिए कि इंडिया एक फेडरल पॉलिटी है। सी व्हेन इट कम्स टू इश्यूज ऑफ नेशनल सिक्योरिटी, आई बिलीव द सेंटर शुड होल्ड sway on everyone else, that it's period, it ends there. But when it comes to issues like this, जैसे it could have easily been the case that okay, we will build our network in Punjab and Haryana and Western UP, will slowly wean off farmers of certain things, and then maybe we can build them and we never need a national bill. अभी इसको एक और इश्यू पे यूज कर दिया सकता है कि लोगों को लोग बोलते हैं कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट यूसीसी लाएगी। कितने लोगों को याद है कि गोवा स्टेट में ऑलरेडी सिर्फ यूसीसी ही है और कुछ है ही नहीं। सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये भी हो सकता है ना कि आज क्यों सेंटर नहीं बोलते ठीक है बीजेपी के अंडर है 18 स्टेट 19 स्टेट जितनी भी हैं, तुम सारे अपनी स्टेट के बेस पे कर लो। पॉइंट ये है कि डिबेट ये होनी चाहिए कि किस समय पे एक टॉप डाउन लॉ बेटर है और किस इशू पे एक डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड लॉ बेटर है। ऑनेस्टली ऑन द फार्म लॉज मुझे लग रहा था कि टॉप डाउन लॉ में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, मगर अब इशू ये है कि आप पंजाब को देखो। पंजाब की प्रॉब्लम ये है कि, और इसमें कोई माने या ना माने, कास्ट आ जाती है कि पंजाब एक यूनिक स्टेट है। आप पंजाब के बारे में लोगों को पता नहीं कितना पता है। पंजाब की एक पॉप कल्चर इमेज बहुत अच्छी है, जो सब लोग डांस करते रहते हैं टीवी पे आके, मगर वो लोग भूल जाते हैं कि लिरिक में भी जट्टा और जट्टी ही बोला होता है, उसके बियॉन्ड कोई जात का नाम नहीं होता, जैसे कि और रविदास या रामगढ़िया नहीं होते उसमें। पंजाब में आप अगर लैंड होल्डिंग पैटर्न्स देखो, लैंड होल्डिंग पैटर्न्स में सबसे कम लैंड होल्डिंग तो किसकी है? दलितों की है। और सबसे ज्यादा दलित कॉन्सेंट्रेशन किधर है इंडिया में? पंजाब में। 33% दलित है पंजाब में, सारे, मैं हिंदू सिख दोनों को मिला के कह रहा हूं। तो पॉइंट ये है कि लैंड होल्डिंग पैटर्न्स का तो सत्यानाश हो चुका है पंजाब में। पूरी आपकी जो होल्डिंग, पंजाब की जो एक इकोनॉमी है, जो अभी जो भी है, जिसको आपको बोलना है, जो बोलना है उसको बोलो, अब वो उस पूरे फ्यूडल स्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर है। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से ये था कि सी, आप जब कोई पॉलिसी लाते हो, आई स्टिल सपोर्ट दैट पॉलिसी, मगर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि you have to consider the backlash before you bring a policy. See, the government is not going to face a level of backlash for many policies. See, रेरा भी आया ना, उसके लिए कोई थोड़ी ना रास्ते पे उतरे। बहुत सारी पॉलिसीज आई हैं, आपके बैंक्रप्सी कोड आया, उसके लिए कोई नहीं है। एयर इंडिया को सेल कर रहे हैं कोई, हाँ, जो एयर इंडिया के पार्ट थे, यूनियन के पार्ट है, वो बोल रहे हैं, मगर वो कोई रास्ते में जाके थोड़ा तोड़ताड़ कर रहे हैं। सो द पॉइंट इज दैट यू मिसकैलकुलेटेड द बैकलैश फॉर दिस।
बट कुशल, बैकलैश फिर हुआ क्यों? मतलब पॉलिसी में किसी तरह की कमी रह गई। एंड एक चीज मैं और ऐड करना चाहूंगी, जब इंटर स्टेट जो ट्रेड है उसको फ्री करने के लिए तो सेंटर को ही लाना पड़ेगा पॉलिसी।
इंटर स्टेट को फ्री करने के लिए यस, सेंटर को पॉलिसी लानी पड़ेगी, बट यू डिड नॉट नीड ऑल थ्री ऑफ देम, राइट? All three of them don't serve the purpose, right? आपको इंटरस्टेट अगर ट्रेड को फ्री करना है या आपको उसको और लूजन करना है, उसके तरीके हैं। मगर पॉइंट ये है कि आप मेरे को ये बताओ ना कि अगर सेंटर को मालूम था कि पंजाब में ये रिएक्शन आने वाला है, तो सेंटर को रिसर्च तो करनी चाहिए थी ना, कोई कुछ तो सर्वेस किए होंगे ना सेंटर ने कि इफ आई एम डूइंग दिस, is the policy good by itself at the policy level? Obviously it's a good policy, it makes complete sense to me. But the point is that since when did good policy become good politics? It isn't, and मेरे को तो पता नहीं, मैं तो वैसे ही बंदा हूँ, मुझे तो लगता है वैसे ही बेवकूफ लोग भरे हुए हैं इस देश में. तो मतलब in the army, in the in the great level of stupidity in India, we are adding to one more stupid thing. मगर आप think like a पंजाब का फार्मर, यार तुम क्यों चाहोगे ये चेंज होने को? तुम्हारी क्या स्कीम है? क्या स्कीम है ये? क्या मतलब ये एक फिक्स डिपॉजिट स्कैम है. ठीक है, आप हर साल एमएसपी बढ़ाते हो. अच्छा, लोग क्यों नहीं पूछते बीजेपी से पिछले साल या 1.5 साल 2 साल पहले सबसे ज्यादा एमएसपी का रेट बढ़ाने वाली सरकार कौन सी थी? भाई भाजपा ने ही किया था ना. तब इनको किसने काटा था? दूसरी बात, शिरोमणि अकाली दल.
Sorry, Kushal, आपने कहा कि you met some people who had some counter arguments which you could understand, right? But what could possibly be the counter argument that a farmer in Punjab can sell his produce in any part of India? What can be a logical counter argument to that? They can't be possible.
There is no logical counter argument. मगर their counter argument है, मेरे को जरूरत क्या? मेरे को तो गवर्नमेंट में फ्री फंडिंग मिल रही है, मैं बेवकूफ के जैसे घटिया से घटिया क्रॉप उगा रहा हूँ और गवर्नमेंट बोलती है ले भाव. बॉस, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? दे आर नॉट ग्रोइंग द क्रॉप. चावल और आटा, पहली बात, चावल पंजाब में क्यों उगाते हैं मेरे को आज तक नहीं समझ पड़ा. वो पंजाब की क्रॉप ही नहीं है, वो क्रॉप थी बिहार की. अच्छा, ये कितने लोगों को मालूम है कि पंजाब में पंजाबी थोड़ी ना फार्मर है, वो तो बिहारी आते बेचारे, वो बिहार से पंजाब में जाते हैं. बाकी तो जो मतलब मैं पंजाबी हूँ, तो जो हमारे लोग हैं वो तो मुस्टंडे बैठे रहते हैं उधर ऊपर से. तो पॉइंट तो वो है. तो कर रहे तो बिहारी हैं, क्योंकि पंजाबीज नेवर न्यू हाउ टू ग्रो राइस, राइट? दिस वाज अ बिहारी थिंग दैट दे केम ओवर देयर. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट you create a Ponzi scheme, right? You have created a Ponzi scheme where you say, bro, you can grow whatever of these two things, I'll buy it and keep it. You don't even have to do a quality standard check. I mean, how many people eat the rice and wheat grown in Punjab? You can't eat that thing, man. It's bad food. Everybody in India most probably uses Madhya Pradesh atta. Madhya Pradesh ka chawal. Everybody knows that. These are open facts. But the point is, how can the government say we did not do it? Because the Shiromani Akali Dal BJP government, even in the state, they were also doing it. भाई politics खेलोगे और suddenly आप बोलोगे नहीं ये तो policy गलत है. भाई तुमने क्या किया जब तुम power में थे? So you cannot say you have to look at the policy from an isolated perspective, removing the politics. अगर ऐसा था तो इंडिया में free speech होनी चाहिए, इंडिया में uniform civil code होना चाहिए, इंडिया में बहुत सारी चीजें होनी चाहिए. But we are a stupid country. I mean, our politics incentivizes stupidity because it's based on a short-term gain. So you cannot say just judge the policy without looking at the political and social reality, because that's not how policies are made. Otherwise, 1925 में blasphemy law नहीं आता इंडिया में, British India में. It was a stupid decision, but it is driven by stupidity. Policies by default are driven by stupidity.
We saw that there was a penetration of anti-national national forces into the movement. We saw Khalistani, presence there. We saw a rape and death of a young woman from Kolkata in the protest side, which was tried to be, they tried to hide it up. We saw, killing of a Dalit man, right? And his hand was chopped off, limb was chopped off, right? The Supreme Court of India, Army Lords also said that please, leave these roadways, and, there is these thousands of crores the factories are losing. Now, the question what I want to ask first to you, and then Rajat can later come into that. Has the government mismanaged the situation? Has Indian state come across soft for political gains and perception management, and they have failed? They have sacrificed that at the altar of politics?
Oh, absolutely. See, the tragedy of India is that the most low-hanging fruit of Indian politics is law and order. But think like a politician. Why would you want a law and order situation in India to be perfect? You mean to say a politician would want?
Are you saying the center wished that? Center would have not wished that, right?
Center doesn't wish that, but the center also did not maintain law and order. Look, it's very clear.
What could be the reason for that? I mean, the Home Minister, this is a failure. Then the state's coming across very soft, right?
Oh, they're milking it. They thought we would milk it. They would get, they would get a bad name. The movement would lose. Look, the center had an opportunity in January when they did that Red Fort Tamasha. They should have, basically danda maar ke nikal dena chahiye tha unko. Police
that was sacrilege.
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. But then they missed the bus. And then, look, we all know what happens in Punjab. Punjab has a history. And now everybody knows why the government backed off. As far as Punjab is concerned, it's not just, लोग बीजेपी तो वैसे ही नहीं जीतने वाली पंजाब में, बीजेपी की क्या स्टैंडिंग ही नहीं है कोई पंजाब में, बीजेपी तो इसके पहले कौन सा बड़ा उखाड़ लिया था बीजेपी ने पंजाब में, तो वो इश्यू नहीं था. Everybody knows they had intelligence inputs that Punjab is going to burn. Now the point is that you should have nipped it in the bud then. You did not. You let it happen. And I'm not saying they're going to let it happen in every case. That also is an hyper exaggerated Twitter India view. And Twitter पे पता नहीं कौन सा नशा करते हैं लोग, मुझे नहीं पता. But that is not my point here. The point is that the BJP messed up. The job of the state is to ensure law and order. Look, I have never been happier. I'm no fan of Delhi and that NCR region. वैसे ही मुझे वो जगह पसंद नहीं है. But I have never been happier in my life that none of this rubbish happens in Mumbai. It's a very commercial place. People are practical. सबको business करना है. I don't know, as if Delhi is the धरना capital of India. जिसको भी शगुफा करना है उधर जाके धरना देके बैठ जाता है, बोलता है देखो देखो. I don't know. And because the media is so Delhi centric, everything happens over there. And look, the BJP messed this up. The government messed it up. There is no excuse. The entire messaging from day one. अरे आपने farmers को समझाया नहीं, वो समझने वाले थे ही नहीं, आप बेवकूफों से डील कर रहे थे. The point was you should have let them protest but kept the roads open. You did not let anything happen, boss. And then you say, oh, ऐसे कैसे हो गया, oh वैसे. Secondly, I think the biggest mistake the government did was calling everyone a Khalistani. I think that was ridiculous. I can tell you with full responsibility, and this happens with every single discourse in India. I don't know how this helps. And especially, again, on social media, the fanboys and the fangirls and whatever gender they are of BJP and the larger non-left, right-wing Indian discussion groups, I don't know what they think, that everybody who supports the farm laws is a Khalistani, boss. How many
so that is why I asked that's why I made it clear to say the penetration of Khalistani elements into the farmer protest. Definitely there were elements, but the entire protest can't be called Khalistani, right? Yeah.
The point is the Khalistanis were waiting for an opportunity like this. Look, they stay benign. Then whenever they find an issue related to Punjab, they crop up. That's just the reality of life. I mean, what are you going to do? It is what it is. But the point is, the government, with all its wisdom, with all its intelligence networks and inputs, they didn't know that. I refuse to believe that. The government must have known it. Look, why they did not do, the only people who know it are the Home Minister and the Prime Minister, because nobody else in BJP seems to know anything anyway. Because that's the way the party has become. That's the way the government has become. But the point is, I don't know what else they could have done. They should have maintained the law and order of this country. Look, they messed up in Shaheen Bagh. They messed up in this thing. And that's just the story of this country. Aam aadmi rota hai, baki sab log maja karte hain.
Rajat, building upon that, taking from that, the 26th Jan, what we saw, like it's such a sacred occasion. The Constitution has come into effect on the Republic Day, and you saw security forces hapless in front of these violent rioters, and a place like Red Fort being, put under a siege. And you saw them literally begging to some of those rioters that spare us, and hundreds of security forces were injured. What do you make of that? Would you put that on the state, that they were caught unarmed, or that was just a political move, and that was compromising the safety of the nation and also prestige to some extent?
I think if you look at especially Prime Minister Narendra Modi's modus operandi to deal with issues like this, it's never a completely clear strategy. There are things that are milked for their own political benefits for some time, and then when the situation devolves into complete chaos, they tend to then be more reactive and responsive. There is also this issue which has been raised, been brought up, that since it became a Sikh-related problem, since the religion of Sikhism got associated with these protests, Prime Minister Modi was hesitant to take punitive action on these supporters because of the background and the history of what has happened with Sikh protests and Sikh anger in India. So because he considers and holds the religion and of Sikhism in high regard as opposed to maybe other religions in India other than Hinduism, he tried being a little soft on them, thinking that he could cajole them later into believing that he's for them. If you, ironically, I have not seen any Indian prime minister in living memory, in my memory, who has been so outwardly pro-Sikh in his, appearances. No prime minister ever has been to the number of gurudwaras he goes to. No previous prime minister has praised the Sikh gurus and their association with Sanatan Dharma overall as much as he does. The case in point of providing so much capital in terms of MSP to Punjab is also a case in point that there has been no shortage of funds that has been sent to that state. However, I don't think that there has been I don't think the Punjabi folks have hated a prime minister after Indira Gandhi more than they hate Narendra Modi. So
which is ironical, right? Rajat, we've always heard from the BJP ideologues that that they were anti-appeasement of certain groups, but here the appeasement is happening, and that too of not the regular folks, but even secessionist elements who are being.
I don't think that democratic politics anymore can ever be anti-appeasement to groups. I mean, democracies have kind of reached a stage where if you have an identity associated with your group that can impact the electoral process or the polity, you will always play that chip. And frankly, he doesn't expect Muslims to vote for him, and that's never in his mathematics as of now. And it's a foregone conclusion that it's never going to become part of his arithmetic. But he believes that the larger impact of Sikhism on the Hindutva movement has to improve, which is going away. That's my personal belief. However, I'll just give you a quick example. When I started researching on the farm laws, I live in the United States, and there are a lot of pro-Khalistani, way more pro-Khalistani element, although still minuscule among the actual Sikh community, but still larger than India. I couldn't for my life understand these agricultural scientists who I actually worked with during my grad school, who came from states like Punjab and Haryana. They know agriculture economics by the back of their hand. They understand, they've written papers about it. And yet they had, farmer protest DPs on their Facebooks calling Modi fascist. Because it's an issue that's above just economics or laws. It's a hatred that's developing for the Hindutva RSS movement among Punjabis and Sikh communities. Certain castes being.
It's the religious identity politics. Kushal, if I were to take that ahead, now there was this messaging by Prime Minister Modi where he said that initially I got the laws for the farmers, now I'm taking it back for the nation. How honest was that? Was it really back for the nation, as we heard from a section of his supporters who said this is a master stroke? And or is it the fact that we've conceded defeat, that we cannot fight as a state on 2.5 fronts? We just cannot. Or was it a pure political move, as we can already see Captain Amrinder Singh has said day before yesterday that now he's open to alliance with BJP once he comes to power, and they wanted to save some parts of Western UP. Was a political move sold as a national interest, or was it somewhere in the gray in the middle?
Could be in the middle. In my view, it's never either or. In the case of Punjab, it was a serious national security threat and mildly political for BJP. In the case of Haryana, majorly political. Although I don't understand, the Jats in Haryana have not really voted for BJP in huge numbers if you look at surveys historically. But still, and also they did not want to come across as an anti-Hindu. Let's be very clear. That's just the truth. The UP, again, I think UP में तो pure political decision था.
But that's only parts of Western UP, right, Kushal?
या और कुछ नहीं है. और मेरे हिसाब से तो यूपी फिर भी बीजेपी जीत सकती है अगर वेस्टर्न यूपी में, क्योंकि अगेन वेस्टर्न यूपी में वोटिंग परसेंटेज अगर देखेंगे तो अगेन जाट वोट कितना बीजेपी को गिरता वो भी तो देखना पड़ेगा ना. बीजेपी, बट सी द बीजेपी एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम एज अ पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज जस्ट टू वेल ऑयल्ड. लाइक आप समझोगे कि अच्छा वो लोग को कास्ट मैट्रिक्स में XYZ कास्ट का वोट मिल जाए काफी. ना. When it comes to the caste matrix, they want the vote of every caste in India now, because I have seen this in my own eyes. The level at which, they just want to dominate India now politically, and they will go for the jugular at times, and they will retain the jugular at times, and if it is not politically expedient. And look, in this case, I have to say the Punjab situation was serious, and you cannot look. It is a tragedy that these bills have been repealed. Land Acquisition Act भी हुई repeal. Land तो आज भी acquire हो रहा है ना भाई. We are having those deals, right? Yes, now you'll come back and me, बड़े cost बढ़ता है. Obviously cost बढ़ता है. मगर इस देश में लोग रात को कर्फ्यू लगा देते हैं बोल के कि कोरोना रात को निकलेगा. तो since when did मतलब policy making become intelligence across the world? Look, we are basically, we have to accept this. Politicians are human beings. Governments are run by human beings. If the overall average intelligence of India is ridiculous, why do we expect politicians to be some geniuses? Like उधर बैठ के आइंस्टाइन है और आइंस्टाइन एक बहुत नहीं यार, हम गधे हैं तो वो भी गधा ही होगा ना. तो ओवरऑल ही सब गधे हैं. तो गधों के बीच में और क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हो? That is my point. But look, it cannot be either or. It has to be a mix of factors, and every state will have a different. I have a feeling that you might well see UP working around. See, that is why they are not breaking the protest, and now they want a national MSP law, which is why I feel in the long run this ended to be a disaster, because पहले तो MSP का लॉ नहीं मांग रहे थे, अब तो वो भी मांग रहे हैं. तो अभी वो, और ये लिख के ले लो, वो भी करेंगे ये लोग. वो भी करेंगे. अभी ये लोग बोलेंगे माकारेना करो, ये लोग माकारेना भी करेंगे उनके लिए. ये लोग वो हर चीज करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि इन्होंने आग लगा दी अभी भुट्टो.
स्टार्ट हो गया है. सो रजत, क्योंकि आप एक साइंटिस्ट हैं तो मेरे हिसाब से आपसे अच्छा कोई इस क्वेश्चन को एड्रेस नहीं कर सकता. वी ऑलरेडी नो कि इंडिया के पास वर्ल्ड के 4% ही वाटर रिसोर्सेज हैं, एंड हम सबसे लार्जेस्ट एक्सट्रैक्टर हैं उस वाटर के, राइट, जिसमें से कि 90% जो है एग्रीकल्चर में ही जाता है. एंड 2017 में एक रिपोर्ट आई है जिसके हिसाब से कि हो सकता है 2039 तक पंजाब में जो वाटर रिसोर्सेज हैं वो पूरी तरह से ख़त्म हो जाए. इस तरह की रिपोर्ट्स आना स्टार्ट हो चुकी है. एंड ये ऐसा नहीं है कि ये बस 1-2 दिन में या 1-2 साल में हो गया है. ये चीज़ें स्टार्ट हो गई थी 90-60 के अंदर, जब इन लोगों ने स्टेपल जो क्रॉप थे उसको इंसेंटिवाइज किया था MSP से, राइट. तब फिर 97 में जब उन्होंने इलेक्ट्रिसिटी फ्री कर दी तो पंजाब में अचानक से राइस उगने लग गए. तब राइस तो उनका क्रॉप है भी नहीं. सो अब ये सब जब हम देखते हैं तो आपको ऐसा लगता है कि अगर ये रिफॉर्म बिल आता तो ये एक सोल्यूशन हो सकता था उस वाटर क्राइसिस का? अगर ऐसा है तो क्या एक सुनहरा मौका हमने गवा दिया? और अगर ऐसा नहीं है तो वाटर क्राइसिस रिफॉर्म बिल का एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा क्यों नहीं है? आई वुड लाइक टू यू टू स्पीक अबाउट इट.
देखिए, ये थोड़ा सा जो टॉपिक है वो इस डिस्कशन के स्कोप से बहुत बड़ा है, तो इसमें अपने आप में एक अलग डेडिकेटेड टाइम चाहिए पूरे इसके एस्पेक्ट्स को डिस्कस करने के लिए. बट क्या आपका जो प्राइमरी सवाल है कि अगर ये लॉज आते तो क्या वो सिचुएशन इंप्रूव होती, दैट्स अ डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू से, क्योंकि इस लॉज में, इसके एक्चुअल लीगल टेक्स्ट में देयर इज नो मेंशन ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर और द इकोलॉजिकल इंप्रूवमेंट अराउंड एग्रीकल्चर. क्या इफेक्ट्स होते अगर पूरी तरीके से इंप्लीमेंट हो जाता? तो एक चीज जरूर होती, वो ये होती कि जैसे markets would be allowed to operate on their own and farmers would be given a little more freedom to grow what they want to grow as opposed to grow जो कि जिस पे उनको MSP मिल रहा है, तो उससे थोड़ा डाइवर्सिफिकेशन इंप्रूव होता क्रॉप्स का. डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ क्रॉप्स इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज एज वी नो 60s से पहले पंजाब में, जिसकी ग्राउंड वाटर रिसोर्सेज आज बहुत बुरी हो गई हैं, वहां पर एक डाइवर्सिटी थी क्रॉप्स को उगाने की. अभी भी बात चल रही है. देयर इज आई फॉरगेट द नेम ऑफ द एक्टिविस्ट, काफी एजेड हैं वो, सिख जेंटलमैन, जिन्होंने ये काफी टाइम से उनका ये चल रहा है कि पंजाब is heading towards desertification and there is ample opportunity to grow crops such as maize, you know, और जिससे आप ग्राउंड वाटर रिसोर्सेज को थोड़ा सा efficient बना सकते हो. लेकिन we are way too far into the damage control at this point of time मेरे हिसाब से. I don't think these bills had that kind of power or impact. Long term हो सकता था, but it has to be coupled with the groundwater improvement bill. But जैसा मुझे लगता है अगर वो बिल भी आएगा तो उसका भी सेम ही इम्पैक्ट होगा, क्योंकि एसेंशियली आप ये बोलोगे लोगों को कि आप वो मत उगाओ जिससे आपको बहुत चीप MSP रेट्स मिल रहे हैं जिसमें आपको फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, फ्री वाटर नहीं मिलेगा, आपको इरिगेशन सिस्टम्स को चेंज करना पड़ेगा. तो रियल शॉर्ट एक पॉइंट में ये जरूर बोलना चाहता हूँ एज समबडी हु स्टडीड एग्रीकल्चर, इंडिया में जो एक्सटेंशन वर्क है एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च का, उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट उस लेवल का नहीं है जो बड़ी जो इस इंडिया के स्केल की इकोनॉमीज हैं एग्रीकल्चर की. जैसे जो रिसर्च, जैसे मैं खुद आई विजिटेड बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी, मेट प्रोफेसर्स देयर हु वर वर्किंग स्पेसिफिकली ऑन प्रॉब्लम्स लाइक दीज, एंड दे हैड ग्रेट आइडियाज. दे हैव पेपर्स दैट हैव बीन पब्लिश्ड इन द टॉप जर्नल्स in the world, and they have great, but they told me on face ki we can't get these ideas implemented just because there is so much mess around how we can talk to a farmer, कैसे implement कराएं, उस तरीके की चीजें. तो मेरे ख्याल से एक लेसन जो हमको सीखना चाहिए इस पूरे प्रकरण के बाद वो ये है कि आप अगर इंडिया के एग्रीकल्चरल सिस्टम पे एक सेंट्रल लॉ ऐसा एनफोर्स कर दोगे विदाउट ग्राउंड वर्क फॉर एटलीस्ट 5-6 years, जिसमें आपने इनफ अवेयरनेस क्रिएट कर दी है इन चीजेस के बारे में, और एक सिग्निफिकेंट प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ फार्मर्स आर willing to make that change.
Rajat, one thing I want to understand. So we are looking at a disaster, right? I mean, the water ground level is going to get exhausted, right, in Punjab in next 10-15 years.
Yeah.
And it's like a ticking bomb.
It is a ticking bomb, but the problem is जो लोग involved हैं in practices में, doesn't matter to them at this point of time.
I understand that. वो अपने benefit के लिए they won't, but we are looking at a crisis, right?
We're absolutely headed for a crisis.
So we are going to run out of water, underground water in Punjab in the next 15 years, and then it's going to be a catastrophe, right? We have a question from our viewer, known author, known blogger, educationist par excellence, Arsha Malik from JNK. Kushal, was there a particular playbook of anti-national elements in place? Could you see a pattern of anti-national forces exploiting the situation?
It's the same everywhere.
So you agree there was in this moment, in the protests, the anarchy
they
that
did not
happened?
create it. See, anti-nationals are very standard operating procedures. Na, they just have a look. I mean, this is a standard operating procedure. आज से नहीं, तो हमेशा से. See, the way the communist mind works is that it always believes in what? See, human beings look at the worlds in a different way, right? So let's say I lean libertarian. For me, the value that I matter the most is freedom. For a communist, it's all about oppression, oppressed, oppressor, oppressed. It's always about that. So and in such a world view, like I know I'm going to piss off you. Like, I'm not a major nationalist or anything. I'm a civilizationalist. I always say this. I'm not a nationalist or a patriot. It might hurt people, but I'm not actually. I just believe in following laws, and that's it. I end there. I believe that I need to be a good citizen and pay my taxes on time. Other than that, I don't need to Bharat Mata ki jai and all that. I don't get it. I have a lot of respect for my civilization, and I do my bit for my civilization. But the point is that was there a toolkit? I mean, there is always a toolkit. There is always a modus operandi. It was not specially created for this particular thing. Like there was this Excel sheet that was it. Yeah. So nowadays in the model world, are we in a scenario where, yes, we are organizing and writing things down? Yeah, maybe we are making Excel sheets or we are making PowerPoint presentations. I mean, बेचारी Greta ने वो जो meme होता है ना, अरे scheme बता दी.
Right.
वो kind of a thing. वो थोड़ा वो गलती से mistake हो गई थी Greta की. So it's always in between thing, right? But it is not just in this, yaar. See, if you want to read these things, there are excellent reports on the Khalistani network that have been done. You can go and watch the websites of the Hindu American Foundation, and they have linked it to many other research groups. If you really want to read reports on how the Khalistani movement works in North America or in the Western world, there are ways. So and if you read those reports from the past, which is like 5-10 years ago, 15 years ago, it is the same. They always work in the same way. So was there this unique moment? No, I don't think so. But is there a modus operandi where they function in a particular way? Oh, hell yeah. I completely agree. They have a very standard, they're very well oiled. Huh? By the way, you got to give it to them. The way they bully innocent Sikh people in Canada, because I lived in Canada and I've seen there. Oh my God, the way they bully the average Sikh, the Khalistanis. Oh my God, it's so terrible.
Right. Rajat, you want to have a last 1 minute on that? Had they infiltrated? Was there a fertile ground? And was there an anti-national toolkit that was able to make inroads?
So I completely agree with Kushal. I just like to give you, a scientific analogy as to how I look at this problem. So when you try and identify the root cause of a particular issue, that it's very critical to understand the root cause of an issue. The root cause of this issue is not the anti-nationalist forces. They are just mere symptoms of what happens when things go out of control with bad implementation of policy and politics. तो ये सारे factors हमेशा से हैं और रहेंगे. It's just that जैसे you get an infection from a virus, right, in the body, the root cause is that infection of the virus. What that does to the peripherals of how other, जैसे when you get coronavirus, then you get other, your immune system is compromised, then you'll get attacked by other, that doesn't mean that the other viruses or microbes that eventually kill you are the reason why you died. The root cause of the problem is not anti-national forces. The root cause of the problem is not any forces that are trying to break up India. The root cause is whether or not you can implement such a centralized policy on a market as complex as the Indian agricultural market, right, without considering the repercussions. And in that case,
I think you summed that up really well, Rajat. I think also, ironically, that communication में कुछ कमी रहेगी, प्यार में कुछ कमी रहेगी समझाने में. Amna, you would want to wrap it up for us?
इसी के साथ हम अपना आज का एपिसोड खत्म करते हैं और आशा करते हैं हमने अपने ऑडियंस के सारे सवालों को एड्रेस कर लिया होगा. एंड वंस अगेन थैंक्स टू आवर पैनलिस्ट, क्योंकि उन्होंने बहुत ही सरल सहज भाषा के अंदर सारे क्वेश्चंस के आंसर दिए. एंड अगर आपको इसी तरह से और भी कन्वर्सेशन चाहिए तो प्लीज़ कमेंट सेक्शन में आप कमेंट कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Kushal. Thank you, Rajat.